Thank you
Okay.
so much for joining in. First of all, congratulations for the 695 score. You're in the 90th percentile, and you see from our last attempt. I say this because you're familiar with your the last format of the GMAT, right?
Right.
It equates to a 750, and so well done. Congratulations. And you got your score very recently, is what I hear from Nabil as well. So how
Yes.
do you feel, this GMAT is out of your chest, out of your way. How do you feel about it?
I feel fantastic. And firstly, thank you very much for the course. It helped me a lot. So I told Nabil as well. I felt as if, I was prepared for 100 percentile as well. So I would say that 98 percentile is something that I'm not very happy with. I could have gone to 100, but again, it depends on the exam day, right? And yeah, the preparation and everything, it's been fantastic. And I'm very happy to sort of, get over with the GMAT now.
So a quick look on the performance by section wise. You've got the total score of a 695, 90th percentile. Your quant was at 95th, verbal at 91, data insight at 90th percentile, right?
Yes.
So, there you go. Everything is above 90th. At least, that's the exact ingredient for a score of 98th percentile and above. Or
Right.
yeah, this is exactly what we're looking at. Now, Shubham, before we speak about how the entire journey was, you could just tell us a little bit about yourself. Um, what are you currently doing? Where exactly are you working? And how did this entire idea of GMAT, MBA all come in picture? And how did top 1% happen for you?
Okay. So I did my BTech from VIT Vellore, and I have been fairly good in academics. So I mean, I joined Wells Fargo then as a software developer, and I'm currently working in Wells Fargo. GMAT is something that came up in my mind in college itself, to be honest. And MBA is something I really wanted to pursue, and MBA from abroad to be very specific.
Okay.
Now, top 1%. So I follow Sharan, and Sharan, I believe, he's joined top 1% as well, and he advocates that.
Yes. Yeah.
So I saw his post, and that is where I came across top 1%. I went through your testimonials. The basic selling point for me was Sandeep's first session. The first session I attended, and I was pretty sure that this is what I want to do. And as for the MBA, so I really want to get into client-facing roles, and that is why I really want to go for an MBA. And I have been very specific that to get that experience, I want to go for an MBA abroad.
Right. So, when you initially started off okay, so you did have a certain things in mind, why MBA and GMAT is the way. But
Right.
when you joined Sandeep, of course, you would have gotten a different perspective altogether in terms
Right.
of why a new aim, right? A high GMAT score, everything
Right.
absolutely top notch from your life, from anything that you do. So
Yes.
how did that perspective came into being and into realization, one with the GMAT score or any other aspect of your life?
Okay. So as you said, right, when I first got to know about the GMAT, my target was 700 plus, and anything above 700, I would have been happy with that. But once I joined Sandeep sir, I realized that, even 780 or even 800 is not something really difficult, and it is very much achievable. And 99 percentile is something that you definitely have to aim for. I saw all the testimonials, and yeah, that is something that I kept in my mind. So in my last attempt, I got a 710, but I was still not happy with that. I really wanted to go out there and get a better score. So definitely Sandeep sir's coaching, the ideology, that has helped me to sort of push for better and not be satisfied with what I currently have. And it's been very helpful for me.
So that philosophy is what we can say. So diving a little deeper into the GMAT preparation, going section
Mhm.
wise. So initially, when you started off, where were you with quant, with verbal, and how did the resources at top 1% kind of help you, overcome any challenges? Could you just highlight on some of the difficult areas in any of the section initially when you started off? And of course, you also mentioned that you attempted the classic edition.
Yes.
So the transition from classic to focus edition, how different it has been. You can just tell us in brief.
Okay. So when I started with the preparation, I was fairly good in mathematics per se, and my basics were strong. And in verbal, I considered myself good. But that changed once I saw what type of questions we have in the GMAT and how the GMAT really tests not your verbal skills, but the logical reasoning ability, right? So those were things that I really had to struggle with. Quant, I would say I did not struggle much. My basics were clear, and the time management was the only thing that I worked on. But RC and CR, I struggled a lot. And there was a point I thought that probably I cannot do this, right? It seemed extremely difficult to me. I was sort of, hell-bent on my answers that this is the right answer, but I would later get to know that, why that is the wrong answer. So the course and the teaching sort of really opened up a way for me to look at things from different perspective. I was, sort of narrowing my focus to what I wanted to think. But after the course and after, actually understanding the various ways of looking at things, I sort of got the realization that I should look at things at from a different perspective. So that was one thing I really got a lot of help with. RCCR and Octave. Octave really helped me to tackle RC passages. And, I feel that it's sort of a part of my subconscious now that I can just go through a passage and I know exactly what I need to do with the questions. So, yes, that was something that I got a lot of help with and the amount of practice that I got, right? So,
So
uh,
generally, when I often, speak to some of the students who are
mhm,
stuck, they're not going beyond 40%, 50%, 60% accuracy, or they're not able to time it properly.
yes,
And so, more often than not, I keep saying there are three people who will help you in doing this. One, you yourself, where you introspect, go back and
yes.
see why. And if you are hell bent in, no, this is the right answer, then there's the second person, which is Sandeep sir in his videos. You go back and review. Or third is the faculty. So these are my general answer. But did you see, did you have all these three help, or did you go beyond anything else? How did you
No,
overcome?
it was these three definitely. And as you said, right, the first has to be me. So getting that mindset change was very important. And that was something that changed in my third attempt. So definitely it was these three and the ideology and the teachings really helped.
Right. So in through your preparation, did you also maintain some kind of an error log just to go back and see all the questions that you've made mistake, and when you re-looked at it, were you able to kind of see if you were making the same mistakes, or have you improved, or was there any other strategy that you employed throughout?
Okay. S- for my first attempt, I did not do this. And I really feel that that is something that everybody should do because maintaining an error log and ensuring that you don't repeat those same mistakes, that is extremely important. And I started doing that after my first attempt, and it has really helped me. Apart from that, one thing that I did in my recent attempt was that for the past a few days before the exam, I gave a mock exam each day, full length mock, and exactly at the same time as the exam. So that really helped me to sort of uh, get that, practice at exactly the same time with the same conditions. So when
Simulate.
I went for the exam, yes.
Yeah.
So when I went for the exam, I felt that I was just giving another exam, right? Not the exam. So that was one thing that helped me. And apart from that, a lot of practice. Like suppose I was, weak with the time management in data insights. So I did a lot of sectional practice in place of the full length mock. I really used the sectional mock exams, and that helped me a lot to get the time management right.
Right. So the biggest game changer, I would say, from even when you look back at the Classic Edition portal, and this
Mhm.
portal is the mock portal, which
Yes,
exactly has the similar simulation of the exam, and even the
yes,
sectional mocks, and then of course there is a transition before you take the non-time test, then the time test, and then
yes.
slowly getting into the full length mock. So how happy or how satisfied were you with this portal, and how did it help you through your preparation? What would you say
The
about
portal was fantastic, to be honest. So, exactly the same exam UI, exactly the same conditions. So it really helped me to actually mimic what I would do in the exam and the same interface. So it makes a difference, right? So, I mean, definitely it's been a game changer for me. And the
Right.
amount of practice sessions it had, the
Right.
amount of mock tests, I mean, it's really something that's a game changer.
The best part is that you would not exhaust. In case if you exhaust also,
Yes.
you could reset it and then retake it. Right.
Yeah, and for every exam that you give, you get the insights. You have the option where you can see what range are you in, what to do to get to a better range of score. So all of that, I mean, it's really covered every aspect of your preparation.
Complete analysis of your score of
Yes,
any test that
yes,
you take. So,
yes.
was there a point where you finish a mock, or you were stuck somewhere, or you need some kind of insights? Did you get a chance to have a conversation with the faculty to have a more strategic guidance? Did you take up
So
any?
I
Yeah,
I took strategic guidance after my first and second attempt. And one of the most important feedback I received was for the error log. And the second was because I was struggling with RC, I was told to do the LSAT passages
fascinating.
and to sort of acquaint myself with the length of the passage under a given time. So I followed both those advice and they helped me.
Okay, perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
So, on the D-Day, especially with the Focus Edition attempt, what was so during in all the sections, right? Were there any
Mhm.
question that seem out of the box? You did not really, you're not familiar with this question, and you had to kind of quickly move on as an exit strategy, or were you familiar with almost all the questions?
Okay. So in my first attempt, definitely I felt that, every question was like that in verbal. So I felt that, I was underprepared and it seemed like every question was sort of, it did not have an answer that I feel should have been there.
Right,
So, but I feel that is again a practice deficit. So after I practiced a lot, my second and third attempt were very smooth. It was only a time management game after that point. I did not feel that I was underprepared at any stage after that.
right.
So yeah, it was all about time management after that.
Right. And no other question seems like unfamiliar. You were, good with all the questions. Another thing that
Yes.
now we just been speaking to one other student. Again, the difference between the previous attempt and this attempt, there you could
Mhm.
make some mistakes, like a couple of mistakes, and
Yes.
still be at 98 percentile, 99 percentile, or 100 percentile. Here, there is, because the number of questions have reduced, the number of
Mm.
mistakes that you can make are very few. You can't
Right.
really make many mistakes. So you have to be extremely calculative, and without the practice, of course, you could not really go forward. So, what particular material or help, or probably the resource that videos, be it, or even the help that from the faculties or your facilitator, Nabil, that
Mhm.
stood out the most for you?
Okay. The portal definitely stood out for me. It was a
Right,
game changer, as I said, and I used it extensively to overcome my weak areas. For example, data insights. I really felt that I was weak with data insights, not in terms of the concepts, but in terms of time management. So the portal was a game changer over there. And the second thing was the concepts. So, for example, the octave, right? It really helps you to save on time in the RC passages and to get a glimpse of what the passage is about without actually going through every single word. So the tips and tricks were very helpful for me. Like in RC and CR, we have questions, a lot of options have superlative answers in them. So if you're
right,
just running short on time, you can use that to sort of eliminate a lot of options. So
yeah,
these tricks help you a lot.
right.
And these have been very, very helpful to me in all my three attempts.
Right. So in through the last few minutes of our conversation, you've already said what are the do's and the don'ts. You've covered it. But if you would like to just jot it in 3 points, three do's
Okay.
that, because then we are talking about, your journey of preparation or the attempts also is quite a lot. So I'm sure you'd have something that if you look back, if you had done it in one go, and, you could have reduced your attempts. So what is that three things that you would say that you must do through your preparation, and three things that you must completely avoid during your preparation? Or you can add more to the list. You're free to.
Okay. So one thing that really stood out for me was emulating the conditions. So I feel that if you are somebody who really has that exam fright and who doesn't perform as well under pressure, you should really emulate the conditions to practice the say practice full length mocks and at exactly the same time. That will help you to perform better on the exam day. Second thing would be to uh, extensively practice on the areas where you're having issues with time management or areas where you feel that your concepts are weak.
Mm.
Do the sectional tests, do the topic-wise tests, and make sure that you're seeing an improvement in each of them. Third thing would be that get to a point. So I feel that GMAT is a lot about practice, right? Once you've built the concepts. So get to a point, it's like a sort of mental exercise for your exam, right? So get to a point where you feel that uh, these tough questions won't challenge you as well. Do that amount of practice, go through the LSAT passages if RC is weak, do the practice in CR, use the resources that we have, and get to a point where you feel comfortable with all type of questions. And no question really puts you off in the exam. So those were the three things that I feel are definitely at top of the list for me. And for don'ts, I feel that, uh, don't stick to your answers and don't be in that mindset that I have to really prove why the right answer is right. So use the tricks, use the tips, and
Keep the error log.
keep the error log. Exactly. So make a log of what you're doing, where you're going wrong, and ensure that that does not get repeated.
Right.
Second don't would be that uh, don't don't so I for my first attempt I underslept. I was awake the entire night. So yeah, go with a fresh mind and make sure you get enough sleep. uh, and I mean it's not something that you should really fret your or really worry much about, right? Just go with a cool head and give your exam. uh, don'ts should be about that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing this. So, what next for you, Shubham? Like, as in, are you giving yourself some more time before you apply, or are you applying this year itself? What is it? And what schools are you in your mind right now? Any particular
Okay.
schools you thought
So
about?
schools I really want to get into the top five.
Right.
Um, and as for applying, I feel that I have around 2 years experience, work experience. So that is something I can improve on before actually applying to give myself a better shot.
Right.
And yeah, but schools has to be top five. That is something I'm very specific on.
Right. So you're going to be working on your profile and building that for a couple
Yes.
of months and years before you choose to apply. Great.
Yes.
So I mean, we at Top 1%, Nabil, when he shared, Sandeep sir, and everybody at Top 1%, we are very proud of the score that you scored, and finally
Thank
you
you
able
very
to get it
much.
out of your chest. It's a great score, and we are looking forward for an admit as well. It may take a couple of months before we hear that result, but up until then, if you'd like, and be connected, especially with our admission team, with all three and even Ranjika, to just have a quick discussion around your profile and the schools and whatnot. You have, you can always uh, reach out to them now or later whenever you're ready. Okay, so you can have an initial conversation if you haven't already.
Sure, I'll do that. And thank you very much once again for all that you guys do. It's really very helpful for us.
Right. No, but sharing this and you actually following what sir is doing, and then it just validates what he's set out there to do. He's a
Right.
teacher by heart. I'm sure you were also a part of one of these videos, sorry, one of the webinars that is
I
exclusively
was.
for joint student, where
Yeah.
he actually, if someone is demotivated or has derailed from the entire course, he puts them back. And
Yes. I mean, I was one of them, so yes.
yeah, so it's pretty. I mean, he does that quite a lot, and he really goes out to whatever extent for all the students who are set out for GMAT. So we're so happy that you got the score. It only just says that the course really worked for you, and it's just the consistency like you should. Thank you so much. It was a great. We are very happy to be a part of this part of your journey. There's so much more to achieve, so much more to see, and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much. And thank you for to the entire top 1% team. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Very proud. Thank you. Thank you again. You have a lovely evening. Bye bye. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Bye.